Okay, this is the Thanksgiving edition of riding in the car. What is it called? Driving home.
Driving home, yeah.
Okay.
Home.
This is the Thanksgiving edition, so we're going to go through this real quick. We've been talking about food for a second here. Dylan, I need your... What do you have to have during Thanksgiving? First of all, actually, before we start that, turkey, is it overrated, yes or no?
No, it's not.
Turkey's great. Turkey's a must.
Okay.
It's great, especially when you combine it with other things.
Such as?
Macaroni and cheese.
So, we've had a conversation in our family. Now, my family, there's no confusion about this. My in-laws, there's been a discussion about, is it communist to not have macaroni and cheese? I would say
for Thanksgiving?
Completely un-American to not have...
It's a
Thanksgiving.
must.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, yeah.
Then I guess my whole family is a bunch of communists.
Yeah, you're a bunch of communists.
Yeah, we usually don't have macaroni.
You don't have macaroni and cheese for Thanksgiving.
See,
here we go. Not usually. No, I mean, like, I didn't really know that was even a thing.
So you have breading?
Yeah,
of
course.
Stuffing?
Dressing, yeah. Of course. Oh my God, of course.
Cream corn.
Cream corn.
Yes.
All right.
Not all the time, but usually.
So is cranberry, the big discussion is cranberry. I like it out of the can. I'm weird like that. I don't need to taste the berries. I just want the gelatin. That is good with turkey. Turkey for me, and I cook a lot, but turkey is really hard to make. And more often than not, people overcook it because it's a bird and they're worried about stuff. And it really, it takes away from what turkey can be.
Do you do the cooking?
I do a fair amount of cooking. For Thanksgiving, I stick typically... Well, at Thanksgiving, it depends where we are, first of all.
Right.
If I'm at the in-laws, you're going to do a fair amount of desserts and stuff. My in-laws do not have... They're about casserole life.
Okay.
Yeah, so and macaroni and cheese is casserole, but like we're talking about 3-bean casserole, broccoli casserole,
3-bean
squash.
casserole we usually have.
All right,
we usually have that too.
3-bean
but
casserole's
like,
there.
Squash casserole.
That's a lot of casserole.
That's nothing. I mean, like, it's... One time I made we were getting ready for the SEC basketball tournament, and I had a bracket there, and I made brackets of the casseroles, like all the casseroles. They have, like, oyster casserole.
They bring, like, all of these to...
Oh, yeah, it's like a whole deal.
We have, like, one casserole at most.
And so I stick with, when I make, you're asking what I make. If I'm with my in-laws, I try to make desserts, but they don't really eat desserts, so lesson learned. Like, I made these little pecan pies, little pumpkin pies, little chocolate pies a year ago, as well as my cookies that I make all the time. But when I'm in Hiwassee, I'll make ribs, desserts, and I try with my nieces to make one big, like, nutball dessert that everybody, that, like, is new.
Right.
But I'll do there's a weird chocolate cake that my wife likes. And then one of my aunts died in 2013, and no one has been able to correctly do her chocolate cake since. Yeah. The Morelands, my mother's side of the family, they really like desserts. Like, they're going to eat, and they want to eat desserts. Next. Let's have the desserts.
Yeah. I mean, I like desserts.
I mean, I think desserts are...
Especially at Thanksgiving, too. We have chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
That we have, that kind of for our dessert. But going back to the turkey, we have ham also.
You gotta have ham is really
ham
important.
and turkey.
You don't want to try out the ham. Again, people overcook food far too much, I think. Now, Dylan, I want to know more about Texas. Okay. The Cowboys are on, right?
Yeah, of course. Cowboys are on. Used to be Longhorns, A&M. You always watch.
But now the Horns will play on Friday.
At what was it? At Tech?
At Kansas.
No, at Kansas.
Which is
that's awful.
really
that's
weird.
Awful. That's like the worst.
Is that un-American?
That's un-Texan. That's un-Texan for sure. And Texas is really doing that.
And so your brother will come home?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody will be there. And like, everyone has the crazy uncle. Do you have the crazy uncle?
I've got a crazy aunt. She about ruins Thanksgiving each and every year.
No crazy uncle, but the crazy step-grandpa is...
What's he say? We like racial slurs.
Yeah, there's some of that, but we've kind of cut that out over the years. My dad kind of had to have a chat with him after some choice wording when I was like 5.
Yeah, we can't have the news on at our place either.
Does it start a fight, or does...
sometimes.
Well, why would you have the news on during Thanksgiving?
Because
Well,
the
we
grandparents
don't. That's the
always
thing,
want to
yeah.
watch Fox News. They just want it
Oh,
on.
the grandparents want to watch it.
Yeah, and then like we usually just like the conversation just doesn't. It just doesn't go. We'll let him watch
What-
it, and we just never even talk about
What
it.
time are you eating? This is another. See, y'all are not married. That's the big difference between all the people in the car. We have one person who's married. And the other two of you are not going to opposite Thanksgivings. You've only been to your
Right.
Thanksgivings, right?
I will invite the girlfriend over this time.
Yes, but she may make you go there.
See, they're different. They're from Buffalo, New York. They're
Oh.
not a big Southern cooking type. I mean, they do Thanksgiving,
Can't do
but
that. Go.
not
Yeah.
like my
You can't
family
go to that
does it.
Thanksgiving, man.
No, I'm not going to their Thanksgiving. No, she's coming to have real Thanksgiving food at my place, and she'll meet the crazy ants.
So
and
what
all that.
time does it start? What time do you start eating?
Mom's side of the family, usually it's very odd. It's usually around 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's some in-law shit right there. I can't do that. I mean, you can't have. It's Thanksgiving.
What time
There
do
should
you
be.
do that?
You should a proper Thanksgiving starts at noon. Boom.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
we haven't had. We push for noon or 1, and sometimes it'll end up going until about 2:00.
No, see that ain't cool.
But
That is not. So neither of y'all get into the kitchen at all.
Like to cook, I help my grandma sometimes with stuff.
I mean, not even.
too many like older aunts and uncles and my.
So how many
grandmother
people
who-
are at the DeBary clan?
It depends.
You know?
We'll have a lot more this year because there's been a lot of family drama coming on. So we've got a whole bunch this year. But we usually go to Macon, and that's
Oh,
where-
you got to
yeah.
travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll have all the cousins over there.
But do
bunch
you
of
have
kids,
to
bunch of
bring
cousins.
food, or how does that work for Matt? What's Matt's?
Me, nothing. My parents will bring like 2 side dishes, and everyone brings something of their own. So there's a lot of food. A lot of food over
Too
there.
much food?
Yeah.
And do you go back at, like, do y'all hang around Macon and then eat dinner there as well?
Yeah, the guys will usually be watching football, and they'll come and make themselves like a turkey sandwich or something, leftover turkey.
Are you doing a sandwich?
Yeah.
A post Thanksgiving sandwich still?
Love those.
No, we usually don't.
So
Yeah.
you're
I
at-
usually
That's one of the best parts.
I mean, when I like with my mom's side of the family, we'll eat at about 4 o'clock, and that will just serve me through the rest of the day. Like,
yeah, but that's kind of bullshit, right? I mean, like, what do you do? Are you eating breakfast?
yeah.
You can't just eat once, man.
No, I mean, I would have something before that.
Well, this guy. So what can you not? So is turkey that fundamental to Matt's Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah, turkey, ham.
If you don't have
macaroni
turkey,
and cheese.
I think that's un-American.
Well, I
dressing,
agree.
green bean casserole. I like fried okra too. It's not
I
necessarily.
want to get back. I want to circle
Thanksgiving,
back to turkey. First of all, you're right. It is un-American. Secondly, no one knows how to make turkey properly. You got people trying to fry it. Oh, it keeps the moisture in. You know what it's like to eat turkey. Dry turkey, bad turkey is bad.
Yeah.
It's just not good. And most people who are even decent cooks have a hard time with turkey. That's why you gotta have a ham with the glaze,
Right.
not sort of ham. Like, and then don't overcook the ham either. I would argue that yet another type of, whether you want to have pork tenderloin or ribs or both, then you would go with that as well. See, my mother's side of the family really likes ribs for whatever reason. They grew up obviously on a farm in North Georgia, and a couple of my aunts and uncles, it's like they've never eaten before when they eat the ribs. And like, I only make so much, but like, I don't take them because I know how they start eating. Like, they eat them to the bone hard. Like, they're really excited about the ribs. So they like that. Most people, I feel like, talk about turkey and then they don't eat it. I don't.
I always eat.
I mean,
I love the turkey.
Yeah, turkey's the best part.
It's 100%. I mean, that's everything is based off the turkey.
Yeah, everything is made. I feel like to complement the.
It's like gravy. Do you have
Yeah.
gravy?
Of course.
Like chunky gravy or?
No, well, dad's
Just-
side of the family, yes, a little bit chunkier. Mom's side, runnier.
Rice?
We don't usually have rice.
Okay.
I'd be okay. I'm okay with rice being there. We usually don't.
And how many plates are you eating typically? One or two?
Probably one big one and maybe a half. I don't go too much.
So then when do you bust into the desserts?
About 30 to 45 minutes after the second plate.
Yeah.
And what's...
it's usually a long process. I don't just throw it down. I enjoy every single bite. Sit there for a little bit, talk to the cousins, figure out, what they're up to, the same babble going on there. And usually the football game's on too, so
football's always on.
So you're watching one of the three games on whether it's CBS, then I think it's Fox and CBS, I can't remember, and then NBC that night, right? So you're watching all three, or do you kind of check out in the afternoon game?
Usually it's the NFL, but if there's a couple college games on,
Well, Mississippi State and Ole Miss are that night typically.
It has been. Or
do you ever? Now you were very, very young, Matt, but Tech and Georgia used to play on Thanksgiving. Of course, their junior varsity teams played forever, but there was a time in the 90s when Tech and Georgia played, I think, for 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years in a row on Thanksgiving Day on ABC. It was a interesting
I was too young
time. I think they may have only done it for 3 years. It might have been 94, 95, 96, something like that. I remember in 95, Cannon Parkman kicking a sideways field goal. It was not pretty, and they beat Tech that way.
Usually LSU Arkansas is that weekend.
That's usually Friday. The Friday. Those Friday after Thanksgiving is one of the most interesting sort of dog post days out there, because I really just want to watch the end of whatever I'm watching. I don't want to go out, but that's usually the second round of playoffs for high school football, which makes it a really important time.
Yeah.
High school football, that's only the second round for Georgia playoffs?
Yeah, I think...
in Texas, that's way... You're deep into the playoffs.
Is that second, or is that...
I think it's later.
That might be quarterfinals, now that I think about it. But that's moving time. That's when South Georgia has to come to North Georgia, or vice versa, or east to west.
You got to go get those South Georgia games.
And it becomes like a real important thing to get. Like if Colquitt's playing near Atlanta or something... I remember you and I went to Stockbridge.
That's right. You picked me up from the airport.
Stockbridge Buford last year and saw Brent Cox for the first time live. And
how was that?
He was a monster for sure. And Stockbridge, I knew they'd lose to Buford, which they did, if I'm not mistaken. But that was like the biggest game in Stockbridge history. It felt like, because Stockbridge was undefeated, they were yoked. They were ready to go.
Marquez Ezard,
him
pretty good.
Has he done anything at Miami yet?
I'd have to check. I think he's played a little bit. DJ Dallas, former Georgia commitment, has made a lot of plays.
He's played well for them. Yeah, we talked about this a while ago, but it has been stunning to see Miami not be as good as... I thought they'd be functional, but that loss to Boston College the night before Georgia beat Florida...
Well, is Boston College ranked? They're a decent team?
They're good. Don't get me wrong, but that can't...
A program like Miami.
That can't happen. No, that can't happen. Do y'all remember? Do you remember your? Christmas is probably different. This is probably more catered towards Christmas, I guess. But do you have any early memories of Thanksgiving? Like, did you go play kickball or anything, Dylan?
No. It's kind of a weird family connection. I think it's my step-grandma's family. We went to their Thanksgiving, and they tried to get us to play Foursquare. And
Foursquare?
Yeah. the old,
I know Foursquare.
Yeah, my family was not about it.
Did the DeBarys try to get out there and play football at all?
No, I wish.
Really? I could totally see that.
But when I was a kid, we went to this pancake breakfast where my grandmother went to church. And both of my parents, they knew each other their whole lives.
So you're going to church on Thanksgiving morning?
No, it's at the church. It's just a pancake breakfast. This old guy, he's 85 years old. He's halfway blind. He just makes pancakes in the back for 3 hours, and you go up and grab some bacon and pancakes and just sit and talk.
So that's why y'all are eating it too.
Yeah, we do a little breakfast thing with the family too, and it's every single year. I don't think my mom's missed it in 35 years, and we have just pancakes and bacon from this old man. My dad will go back and help him because the guy's halfway blind and all that. But that's Thanksgiving tradition in the morning. And then we do, end up eating a little later.
So, I mean, y'all do it's like a full day marathon.
Are you there the night before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But all my family's from Macon, so they all come back and do it there. So,
how about, is Thanksgiving like a full day for you, or is it like you show up?
Well, we have to travel typically. I mean, one way or the other, we're not eating at home.
Right.
We don't eat Thanksgiving. We did that. Excuse me. We did that last year. But other than that, you're usually at the beach with her family and the in-laws, the crazy in-laws, or you're in Hiwassee, and in Hiwassee, my mother's house is where everyone comes. So the night before, Wes and I and my sister, really, we rearranged the whole upstairs, and I've got like a map, and we can fit like 40 people upstairs in Hiwassee.
Oh, what the?
That's what
we just came from.
Well, my mother had, where we just came from.
Wow.
My mother had 8 brothers and sisters. She was one of 9.
Wow.
So we have an extensive, I have 16 first cousins on that side. So I have a lot of, or there are 16 first cousins. So there's a lot of people that come and hang out. But so the night before is all about getting ready for the crush of people that will be there. And of course, typically, like my wife is a night owl. I should better say my wife is a procrastinator. That's probably the better way of putting it. So she won't start making her macaroni and cheese until about 11:30 at night, and that's insane.
Wednesday night. Now, I haven't made cheesecakes lately. I might make one soon. I don't know.
Ooh, hit me up.
But I try to focus on things that can be made and then they can chill out a little bit. The thing about Hiwassee is, although there's a lot of, moorlands in one spot, there seems to be a problem with refrigerators and keeping things refrigerated. So that's really, I become a big time refrigerator Nazi on in Thanksgiving. Another thing too is I've been trying to become as efficient as possible with leftovers.
I think about it.
I mean,
they're the best leftovers of the year, though.
Well,
Thanksgiving leftovers.
I'm not going to argue that, but what I'm saying is I'm not trying to do leftovers in the microwave. They need to be heated up in the oven. It needs to be properly done. And in order to do that, the way in which you put them up is really important. And that's why I really do become a refrigerator Nazi or fascist, however you want to put it, in that time. So I love Thanksgiving. The good news about Thanksgiving is you're almost done with the football season. I mean, it's draining for me, I have to say. The bad news is you've got that weird tech game hanging over your head every year. And there's just not a lot that Georgia rarely in my lifetime has benefited from playing that game. The 2009 game comes to mind. But other than that, typically Georgia's just expected to win, and if they don't, they really get
bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad.
How many relatives do y'all have who get into the alcohol way too early on Thanksgiving and ruin it?
Well,
everyone's got the once.
0 in Hiwassee. That just is not permitted.
Doesn't fly up there.
Yeah, and they're not a bunch of teetotalers. They're not. Although my mother's side of the family is religious, I don't mean it that way. They just don't. They're not. You're not drinking, and that would not be that. That would not be okay. On my in-laws' side, it's a little different over there. It's a little bit different ball game. Now they're not super nuts, but a mimosa in the morning would not at all be abnormal, and it just goes from there.
We definitely do that for Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas. That's probably more Christmas than Thanksgiving.
Neither side really drinks.
Really?
I don't think that drinking this
this would be normal, but
well, no, I think it is normal. But I have to say, and I don't mean this bad, but I don't think you really should have to drink at a holiday. I mean, I think that
there's football.
You shouldn't have to, but yeah, if there's football on, I feel like
no one drinks during Easter. I mean, unless you're doing communion, right?
Yeah, you don't want to throw down beers on Easter.
No, I mean Jesus is risen. I mean, there's times to drink and not.
Exactly. Well, that's more of a religious holiday, whereas Thanksgiving.
Whereas Christmas is not.
Yeah, but it's fun.
It's the birth of Christ.
It's cold.
Might I remind you? There's not
it's
much
okay
more
for
religious than Christmas.
But Christmas has become.
I know.
I feel like more than that.
It has. No, it's become very.
It's not like you're going to church every Christmas morning either. Like at Easter, you go to church.
Oh, sure. I mean, we can do our own Christmas deal. I mean, Christmas is its own disaster, And once you have children, it's over.
So I can still really, really enjoy Christmas.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always I don't want to deal with Christmas having kids. Like,
if you would like to see your wife stress out big time, Christmas is the time for you. But Thanksgiving,
decorating or financially or both? What's the worst?
Well, I don't necessarily. I wouldn't say financially. I mean, Jessica does not do well with the stress of children, gifts, in-laws. Yeah. She has in-laws too,
Y'all host?
No, no, not typically, because we're always running around to somebody else's house. Right. And the magic of Santa Claus is he's really got a great GPS. Yeah, he can do the job. But Thanksgiving is a little different because what's how our family obviously is heavily into football, and what you got is Jessica's trying to figure out how quickly can she leave to go to the Clemson game. I've got to figure out where I'm going that Friday night. So there's just very few. I would almost love for Georgia and Tech to play on Thanksgiving, not to get out of Thanksgiving, but just so you could have Thanksgiving weekend to yourself. That would be great. Yeah. I would be okay with that. But
I say if there's football on, you can drink no matter where.
I agree. If the rest of my family was at least drinking, I would be too. But I'm not going to be the only one. My brother and I aren't going to be the only ones drinking.
You shouldn't have to drink on Thanksgiving.
You shouldn't have to.
Like that's.
You don't have to, but it's. I mean, especially if you're with family that you haven't maybe seen in a long time. Yeah, you crack one open.
My family ain't about drinking during holidays. They're just that is not going to happen, and we're not. We're not real sticky about these things, but like, no, that wouldn't happen because there's little children around and all that stuff.
See, we don't have little children running around for us.
There's always little children when you have a big family.
My cousins are terrible parents, every single one of them. So they are. they don't mind. The kids run around. They play. No, they don't. They say they read my articles sometimes. If they would.
Yeah, my family says that too, but I don't believe them.
But no, we have fun on Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving with my family.
It's a great truly American holiday, and a lot of Native Americans really paid. Yeah, that was not good for them at all. But
it happened.
It did. It wasn't cool, I gotta say. But
it had to happen.
Well, for us to be here, sure.
Exactly. No.
We can still be wherever we're all from. Yeah. But hopefully you will have a happy Thanksgiving with lots of macaroni and cheese, right?
Have macaroni and cheese this year.
Pecan or pecan?
It's pecan.
Oh my god!
And you shouldn't skip
pecan pie.
Well, you should definitely not skip that. And pumpkin pie is vastly underrated. It's not. It's not great. Hold on. It's not great. But you can't just eat pumpkin pie. You have to have something with it. It's like grits. So you can't just have grits. You got to put butter in the grits, or salt and pepper, or sausage, whatever, cheese. With pecan pie, you've got to have whipping cream of some sort.
Ice cream too. Ice cream and pecan pie are so good. You sound like Sandy cheese.
But does the pecan have to be warmed up? See, I don't think it does.
It's better that way.
What I mean, does anyone do key lime pie or something real weird on Thanksgiving?
No, we have the chocolate pudding.
Coconut cake. See, I don't like coconut at all.
I do.
I don't like the texture of it. Nothing.
My favorite dessert is peach cobbler, but that's more of a summer. I love some cobbler.
How about apple pies, dear?
Apple pie's great. Yeah.
That's the other. That's the other. I made pecan, apple, and pumpkin. Yeah, I made all three of those in these like mini sort of 2-bite pies, and my in-laws didn't eat them at all.
Oh, so my way then.
I was like, "What is wrong with y'all?"
You like deviled eggs?
I don't, but the in-laws go nuts for those.
Really?
They, they love it. Yeah. No, it's all about the casserole, period. mean, I can't do that, man. It's just they're not good.
They're fine.
3-bean casserole, oyster pie, tomato pie. I'm like, no, man, get this shit out of here, man.
Yeah.
This is disgusting. It's not good. It's not good. All right, how are we wrapping this up?
Oh man,
That's it.
That was solid, though.
So you don't like? So I'm the only weird one that's not into turkey. I would say I will eat turkey. I just think it's not that great. That's where I'm at with
But
turkey.
That's kinda where I stand
get
with
that it
you.
has to be at Thanksgiving, though.
Well, I think society has forced it on us. Yes, but I'm not saying that it has to be there.
Yeah, for
Well,
good reason.
Turkey and ham.
Well, wait a second though. I mean, why couldn't you have a standing rib roast or something like that? I mean, turkey is a disgusting animal, if we're being honest. Can they even fly?
It doesn't matter. That's what the pilgrims.
No, I'm asking you a
matter.
question.
It tastes good.
No. I'm asking you a question. Is the turkey a noble animal or not? First of all, can it fly? I'm asking. I'm not making fun.
I don't
I'm asking.
think so.
I don't think it can either.
No.
I've seen
At
them
least
flap
not
their
sustained.
wings. Right. So he's about as good at flying as I am. And am I supposed to celebrate this guy while I'm eating
Because
him?
he tastes good as shit.
He doesn't taste good. You need cranberry sauce or gravy with turkey.
Pigs are on the low end of the animal.
They are. They're smart. At least they're smart. At least a pig is smart. Turkey. Who has a pet turkey?
That don't matter.
It doesn't matter. I will leave you with this. Turkey, overrated. What's the best? You're going to say turkey is the best thing you eat during Thanksgiving?
No, but it's simple.
No, but
it's
you
one
have
of
to
my favorites.
if you
The mac and
combine
cheese,
it.
though, is
You have to have macaroni and cheese.
Let's just. I didn't know that was like a.
my aunt makes it, and I absolutely love it, and it's amazing.
And you
So that's
can't.
probably that.
I will say this too. You can store buy turkey, I guess. You cannot store buy macaroni and cheese.
No, you
gotta
gotta
make
make
it
that.
at home. Period. All right. I'm glad everyone learned these lessons from me. And don't at me about the turkey either.